Mr. Cobos. My name is Detective Connie Beatty with the Los Crisis Department. I'm sorry? I'm sorry?
However,
Mr. Cobos, just so I make sure I have all of your information correct. It is Luis, right? L-U-I-S?
mm-hmm.
Do you have a middle name?
Javier.
And Cobos, C-O-B-O-S?
Mm-hmm.
When's your birthday, babe? Your social? Good phone number for you.
915-777-2856.
2856. And that is your primary residence over there on Mission Nuevo? Okay. And it's number C, right? Letter C. Who's your driver's license through? Is it Texas, New Mexico?
New Mexico.
It is through New Mexico?
Mm-hmm. I just recently got a Texas license because I was going to be relocating to West Texas for work.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
Did you get it?
did not get that position, but I think I have a valid Texas license at the moment as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And how tall are you, babe?
5'10".
How much do you weigh right now?
Like 180.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cobos. So I'd like to talk to you about the reason that you're here, but before we do that, because I had the officers handcuff you and bring you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over your Miranda rights with you, okay? So the first part is that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present with you while you're being questioned. And if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed and represented to you before any questioning if you wish, okay? You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer my questions or make any statements. So my first question to that is simply, do you understand what I've gone over? Or do you want me to break it
What
down?
you just read? Yeah, I understood what you just read.
Okay, so the second part is that question is, having these rights in mind, is it okay if you and I talk about the reason that you're here?
Yeah, I mean, we can discuss it. I'm
Okay,
trying to figure out.
okay,
I know
perfect.
there was some footage. That's what he had mentioned.
Okay. What else did the officer tell you?
I mean, I'm sure it's recorded.
I know, I'm
That's
just asking what your
That's the
understanding
main thing
is this.
that I'm kind of just like trying to figure out, like, what's the evidence or what's going on.
Has he given you any issues so far? If I unhandcuff you, are you gonna
No, I
be any
mean,
kind of a problem?
I'm not trying to be a problem.
Okay,
I'm
all
just
right.
trying to
We'll go ahead and take your handcuffs off so we can talk,
I appreciate it.
just so you're a little bit more comfortable while we do this.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for being so calm. So, Mr. Cobos, to answer your question, the reason that you're here talking to me today is because there is video footage of the way that you were interacting with your dogs this morning. Okay, so that's why we're here.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen, any footage or any evidence. Am I able to see
No.
the evidence?
No.
No. Okay.
So, one of the first things that I wanted to talk to you about is simply is who, is it just you at the house? Do you live with somebody else?
I mentioned to him that me and my girlfriend reside there.
It's you and your girlfriend. Okay, so is there a chance that she's gonna show up at the house and she's gonna find us there and?
Yeah. So,
Do you mind if I ask who your girlfriend is, babe?
Leslie Corral. Kind of like I was mentioning to the officer, she was coming home from work. She was gonna go visit me at my work because she needed to drop something off.
Yeah.
I mean, my garage is wide open.
Yeah.
He let me send her a text so she knows to go home.
Okay.
And I would assume she's gonna find, obviously, the other officer that's there.
Yeah, she probably is. So where do you work, babe?
T-Mobile.
Oh, at T-Mobile. Okay, and where does she work?
She works at GECU.
GSU, like the bank?
GECU, the bank.
GECU? Okay. And so then let's talk about the dogs. Are they your dogs, her dogs, or the dogs that you guys own together?
Yeah, we own both.
You own both, okay.
Yeah, and then I also had 2 dogs inside that we also.
Yeah, so when the officers went inside, which I'm gonna go ahead and provide you with all the paperwork, we have a search warrant for all of this stuff. They talked about how there was the 2 basset hounds in the back, and then there was it 2 Frenchies inside, and is it just the 4 dogs? Okay. How long have you guys had those dogs?
The basset hounds 3.5 years.
Okay.
And the Frenchies, maybe like 6 months for the smaller one, and then 8 months for the large one.
Okay.
Approximately.
And the basset hounds, you got those together? Are they any kind of like related? Like, did they come from like the same litter or anything like that?
No, because we got them in different states.
Different states. Okay. Do you mind? And I know this sounds so dumb, but do you mind if I ask what like everybody's names are for the basset hounds?
Yeah, it's Billy, Nani.
Like Billy.
And then Nani.
Nani. So Billy and Nye, or is it like Billy Nye?
No. So one's named Billy, and then the other one's named Nani.
Nani.
Yeah.
And is Billy the black one, or
Billy's the white one, Nani's the black one.
The white one. And then Nani is the black one. And then what about the Frenchies?
MJ is the brown one.
Okay.
And then Trunks is the Merle.
Like car trunks, like plural?
Yeah, it's from Dragon Ball. Look at the cake. You spelled it right.
Okay. You said one of the Frenchies is brown and the other is black.
Merle.
Merle?
Merle.
What is that?
All it means is he has a pattern. That's it.
Really? So, kind of like something similar to like brindle, but not stripy, right? Like in the concept.
What's brindle?
Brindle, it's almost like brown tiger stripes.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe. I don't know. I mean, I just know that he's Merle because when we bought him, that's what they said.
That's what they said. Okay. Did you get any of these dogs from breeders, or where'd you guys get these dogs from?
The 2 basset hounds were bought from breeders out of state.
Yeah.
Trunks I got from my sister.
Yeah.
And then MJ I got from an old coworker.
Okay. Anybody else in the house with you guys, or is it just the 2 of you?
Just us 2.
Okay. You guys don't like share any kids or anything like that? Nobody's staying with you or visiting you or anything like that right now? Okay. So the images on the video that was taken, it was very clear that you were upset with the basset hounds this morning. Can I ask you, like, what happened with the dogs that you were so angry with them?
Just kind of like, they're a bit more aggressive.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to the food.
Okay. Like their food aggressive?
Yeah. I mean, it was an instance where they kind of snapped at me and bit me, and
yeah,
obviously.
Did one bite you or did both bite you?
They both did.
They did? Where did they bite you?
So I had one here, and then I think the other one was more like a quick little snap here on the top of my hand.
Okay.
But yeah, those are the 2 instances right here.
Can I see? Can I look with the marks? So right there, and then you said you felt something right here.
Yeah.
Even though like it doesn't. We can't see necessarily, but you said it happened here. So on the right hand.
Hand and then left one.
Okay. And how is it that you see fit to discipline the dogs when things like this happen?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's not a guide to.
I know.
Right, and I can't even say what is or isn't fit because I don't even know what the evidence is. So I mean, I can't answer that question.
Well, I mean, so the video shows you clearly striking them with a rock or multiple rocks.
Okay.
So, is that something that like
that's
typical? Is that
that's not typical, and that's not something that I'm proud of.
Okay.
It's not my character.
Okay.
It's not something that, again, I'm proud of happening. And it definitely probably was just like a lapse in judgment. Blacked out this morning, had a rush of anger. But yeah, again, it's.
So it's not.
So I agree.
It's not normal.
I agree that that's not fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you could see why somebody witnessing that would probably be like really concerned
Yeah, of course.
about
I
what's
mean,
going
if
on.
I witnessed that myself, I would probably be alarmed as well. And
yeah.
Again, just anger and not dealing with the anger properly.
Okay.
And again, that was not something that I'm proud of, or
did you?
That regularly happens. It's not something that I resort to. Again, it was just like a more angry rage.
Just
They bit me.
in
And
the
it
moment.
hadn't happened in a while where they had bitten me when I'm serving them food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you like to keep their food?
In a bowl.
But I mean, like, I'm so sorry. Do you feed them inside? Do you feed them outside?
Generally, we'll feed them inside. Sometimes we feed them outside.
Yeah.
We have bowls in and outside.
Okay. Same thing. What about their water? Is their water typically both inside and outside,
In and
just like
outside.
their food?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so some days my girlfriend will leave the basset hounds outside
Mhm.
for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
So they have their water and their bowls outside as well.
That's good. That's good. So when this morning happened, and I know you said that it was a last minute judgment, it was a burst of anger that you don't typically encounter, things like that. Like, how did you feel after it happened? Did you?
It's like anything else, you know. I'm sure you've done things in your life that maybe in the moment
You regret?
you weren't really like in tune with what was going on, and then immediately afterwards you have that feeling of regret, right?
Yeah.
So definitely those were feelings that I had. Instantly regretted it, and just something I shouldn't have done.
Did you do anything, like to try to like rectify the situation? Like, did you take the dogs to get seen by any kind of like a vet or any care or?
No, so I mean, I had to go to work. I was at work since 11 a.m. this morning. So obviously I didn't have ample time
Yeah.
to do so.
Yeah.
But definitely probably something that's gonna need to happen.
Yeah. Do they have a vet that they see?
Generally, we'll take them to Juarez.
Okay. Okay. Do the dogs have any kind of like medical issues, or they need medication, anything like that?
They're not on medication, and I mean, I'm not sure if they have medical issues.
Right. Nothing
I-
that's like stood out to you, like majorly.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay. Does your girlfriend have any idea that this incident happened? Like, did you talk to her and tell her, like?
So I haven't told her. Again, I was at work. I've been busy. Haven't had a chance to really communicate with anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't told her.
Okay. Okay. I definitely understand, like a flare up in anger. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just you. That absolutely happens to people. Like, I understand that. Would you characterize yourself as somebody who like maybe struggles with anger issues? Is it something that you've had problems with in the past, that maybe
In the past, I have.
getting some help with?
Yeah, so I
can
mean,
help with it?
since I was a kid, I've been a bit acelerado. I don't know if you speak Spanish.
I don't.
Do
you?
translate that?
Accelerated, hyped up, amped up.
So yeah, as a kid, I was on Ritalin, and didn't have my dad in my life.
Yeah.
He was in prison. He used to beat up my mom. So as a kid, I just always had this built-up anger inside of me.
Did he beat you?
And periodically, there was a time where I had to intervene and step in for my mom, and me and my dad got into a fight. But regardless, that was stuff that was just built up inside of me. I thought it was harnessed, and this morning I just had a rush of anger, and should have handled it better, should have controlled it. Obviously they're dogs, and I can't control whether they bite or snap at me, and I should have known better. But yeah, that's a little background there.
Okay. Well, first, I'm so sorry that you had to witness that growing up. That's a rough thing for any kid. Do you know what I mean? I had seen in the past that you had possibly had some run-ins with the same kind of situation between you and a household member up in Silver.
Yeah, so in Silver City, there was an instance where my ex-girlfriend did call the police.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cop showed up and literally did not ask me anything. They only interviewed her.
They arrested you?
Literally just took me to jail, booked me. Hired a lawyer. She had ultimately told them that nothing had happened that night because nothing had happened. Yeah, and I mean, Silver City's pretty known for having bad practices when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
And not even giving me an opportunity to.
Did the case
Explain
ultimately
what
get
happened.
dropped?
I'm not sure. I know I had hired a lawyer by the name of David Armendariz.
Okay.
I had paid him $450 to resolve that issue
Yeah.
for me, and then I had to move for work to Las Cruces.
Okay. Okay. And the only reason I was asking is because, like, statistically, when we see behavior like what would happen with the dogs, domestic violence is something that goes along with it. When you had mentioned that it was something that you had seen with your dad, that is also something like children who witness that kind of behavior, they are so much more likely to fall in that because
and I mean,
they're exposed to it.
I understand that's what the statistics say, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any domestic violence charges on my record.
Yeah. Even if
Seeing that happen to my mom, I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to, you know, continue that cycle and
so you've
continue
never,
to hit females. It just doesn't make sense, you know.
Yeah. So even though I hear you saying like you don't have any charges or any convictions or anything like that, but have you ever had run-ins like that?
Are you characterizing me as like
I'm asking you.
domestic violence person, or?
I'm asking you if you.
And I told you no. You know, like I think my answer was, you know, growing up and seeing that.
You didn't.
That's not something that I do.
Want to do.
It's not something that I do.
Okay.
Because it's something that I told myself at a young age. You know, I wasn't gonna do. I'm not gonna go around and do what my dad was doing. You know, especially when you have to intervene.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, I don't. Is that what you're asking me? If I regularly hit females, or what are you asking me?
Not even regularly, but just have you ever?
That
something that also?
I've never hit a female.
Okay.
Never had any instances like that. It's just not, again, something that's in my DNA.
Okay. It's just a question. I'm not.
But I just, you know, it doesn't feel good to. I felt like you were categorizing me like that, you know.
From the statistics, I think there was a high likelihood that you could have fallen into that category of people. I'm not saying it makes you a bad person. I'm saying from what you were exposed to, I'm saying it would make sense.
Yeah.
It's just
again,
a
like
question,
it's a touchy subject, you know.
Yeah.
But I just thought you were like trying to say that that's who I am.
No, I'm just asking. Just asking.
Yeah. I answered.
Okay. Did anything else happen with the dogs besides the stuff that happened with the rocks?
Nothing else happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just that.
What were any other objects used?
No.
Okay. Did you notice any injuries on either of the dogs?
I did notice a little bit with Billy, but before I left, you know, I was able to make sure that he was walking and running and whatnot.
Okay. And what did you notice with Billy?
What did I notice with him?
Yeah.
He seemed like he had less energy than Nani.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure he was okay, so, you know, I called them both and they both responded.
Okay. One of the dogs when we got there was bleeding through his nose.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that before you had left?
I don't believe I saw any like blood or anything, no.
Okay. So what's going to happen from here is we are taking custody of all the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're at least going to take the 2 basset hounds. We're taking them to a vet that is on stand right now. The vet's going to go ahead and inspect them, just make sure that they're physically okay, things like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be real honest with you right now. So tonight you're going to be charged with 2 counts of, it's basically animal abuse. It's called extreme cruelty to animals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are both felonies. That's kind of the gist of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions about this?
I think probably the only question I have is, like obviously like you've already explained the charges, but like moving forward, am I gonna have an opportunity to bail out or?
So what'll happen is, you know, you'll go to jail tonight, but you'll see a judge sometime tomorrow. And correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. You'll see a judge tomorrow. They'll review the situation, the conditions, and things like that. They'll look at your history of the situation. And there is a chance they can just release you on your own recognizance. Sometimes they set like a bail or a bond, or sometimes they'll choose to keep you in. It also will depend on if the district attorney files a motion to keep you in jail, but that's going to be up to the district attorney's office. So there is a chance tomorrow, but that'll completely depend on the judge and the DA.
Okay. And then, of course, as far as like making phone calls, will I have an opportunity to do that?
Absolutely, yes. You've been more than cooperative and honest about everything, so I am perfectly fine with you making phone calls.
Okay.
Yes.
And then will I be able to see counsel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely. So you can either, if money is an issue, you can apply for a public defender, or if that's not something you're interested in, you have an attorney in mind that you want to work with, then you are more than welcome to go that route too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So as far as custody of the dogs, one of the things in the way that this works out is essentially the goal of the process is the dogs, essentially, we don't want the dogs around you, okay? We don't want them in your possession, we don't want them in your custody, okay? So there's a couple ways that this can work. I know that your girlfriend is also in the picture. There's no reason for her not to have the dogs, and we're okay with that. But the problem is going to come in is when you get out, of course you're going to want to go home. Does that make sense? So turning the dogs over to her might not necessarily be like an answer if you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm pretty sure like my parents would inherit some of the dogs and her parents would inherit some of the dogs.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about
Yeah.
maybe putting the dogs with them. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And then as far as that process, like when will we be able to kind of start figuring out
Like the turnover process?
what can or can't happen with that?
Let me make a few phone calls and see if that's something that we can do tonight after the vet sees them.
Okay. Can I call my girlfriend just to let her know like what's going on?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. As soon as we're done talking, I'll have him take you back to the booking area. You can use the restroom, get some water, and make some phone calls. You can have more than one phone call. Yeah, there's no issue with that. I'll leave you my card. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to have the officer, I'm going to give him a copy of the search warrant. And that way it'll be put into your property so that you will have a copy of that as well. Okay?
All right.
Any other questions?
I mean, I don't know if we can answer this, but I mean, considering that it's a felony, are there any programs that I can kind of go through or anything like that to kind of assist with the charges? I know, like for example, in other states, they offer different types of programs depending on the offense.
Like an anger management?
Something like that,
Potentially,
an awareness
yes.
class or anything of that nature.
Yes, potentially.
Yeah, and
So-
would that ultimately be up to the DA or?
Correct.
Yeah.
So when the DA gets the case, they'll do the same thing, kind of like the judge. They'll look at you, they'll look at your history, they'll look at the situation, and sometimes they can offer either like deferments or pleas or conditions that like would go along with the case to essentially help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, even though like it's unfortunate, like the way things happen tonight, like ultimately, like we don't want this behavior to continue. So getting you help is definitely like a priority. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, makes sense.
If you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to tell the officer. He can relay it to me. I'm going to be working on some paperwork for just a little bit, but
And there's absolutely no way I could see a judge today?
no.
Most of the time they see them whenever you go to the county, you'll see them in the morning, and so it'll be through Zoom, and they'll just give you a call.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty. I really appreciate it. I'm going to document that, and I'm going to let the DA know that you weren't an asshole, you weren't confrontational, you were not deceptive. Like, that is something that I'm going to proactively mention to them, okay?
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, Vic.
Yes, I don't know.